Hi, my name's Lee Pemberton, and today's masterclass is focused on the profit matrix. Now, this is an absolute essential tool when you're running your service accommodation business, and let me share with you why that is. Whether you are starting out in service accommodation or you have a portfolio of serviced apartments already up and running, it's absolute key that you really understand at least the basic numbers. And the whole idea of the profit matrix is to make sure that you are making a profit from your serviced apartment. So what I've created is a really nice, simple little matrix that you can use as a downloadable document, and hopefully it will really help you assess deals going forward. And at the same time, I'll make sure I'll give you plenty of tips and share with you plenty of ways of how you can improve the profit within your serviced accommodation. So let's keep it really simple. So I've got two tabs set up here for you. One is regional matrix and one is as a London matrix. So let's just focus on regional to start with. And the whole idea is that these cells here, you can actually change the numbers into. So what I would recommend that you do to start with is you really need to understand what your nightly rate is going to be, or your average daily rate is going to be. And quite simply, how I'd recommend to do that is if you use booking.com as an example and focus in on your location, so where you're looking at running your service accommodation business from. And then what I would recommend to do is to select 4 or 5 key competitors. And so you create a competitor set of property, and then you can track what rates they are charging for this week, next week, and then sort of next month and future months. And if you just create yourself a really nice, simple spreadsheet, you can actually plot what the rates are. And then what I'd recommend to do is that you divide that by the number of days, if it's over a month, or number of months over a year, what have you. So you come up with an average daily rent and what you're going to be letting out your properties for. So that's how in this example we've come to £85. We've assumed that we've gone to a location and we've looked at our competitor set and we've tracked the rates over a period of, let's say, like 3 to 4 months, and then we've divided that by those number of months to give us an £85 per night average daily rent. Now, if you wanted to, you could then increase the number of units. So this is an example which is just set as 1 unit, but you can increase the number, and I'll explain a bit more about that in a moment with you. And then you're going to place in here, it's either going to be the mortgage that you're paying if you own the property and you're looking at running this as SA, or you're going to place your rental figure into here. So this is, as an example, would be a 1-bedroom property at £600 per month, unfurnished, direct with the landlord. So that's hopefully quite straightforward, and this gives you the opportunity to be able to change the cells accordingly. Then we've got occupancy. Now we've got 100% occupancy and we go all the way down to 50%. So my aim is always to make sure at 50% occupancy that we are breaking even. So if we look at 50% occupancy as this as an example, so £85 a night, and if our rent is £600 a month, 50% occupancy less all the rest of our costs, which I'll go through in a second with you, is giving us a net profit per month of £41. So we're breaking even at that level, and that's absolutely fine. Your focus is really here. You want to be focusing in and trying to make sure that you are achieving 70% occupancy. That's just going to be, just slightly below the national average outside of London, and that's really where I recommend that you need to be focusing in with your occupancy level going forward. So if we were to assume that you're letting the property out at £85 a night, and then on a monthly basis at 70% occupancy, that's going to be giving you about £1,800 of revenue for that particular property. And this is quite a nice little way to think of things. So what I've kind of done in the past is to sort of, when I'm looking at assessing property, I'm going to be looking at, say, right, if I'm paying £600 rent, then if I'm running as a serviced apartment, I need to be really trying to get like 3 times the amount of the rent I'm paying out. So that's my kind of revenue target I want to be aiming for. So it's £600 multiplied by 3 would give us sort of £1,800 per month. So this shows me at 70% occupancy, I'm going to be bringing in about £1,800, which is kind of that 3 times rule that I sort of try to focus on. So now we've got our costs. So biggest cost we're going to have, obviously outside of our rental, is going to be our OTAs. This is an example that we set it as 15% a booking.com fee. Now, if it's Airbnb, it's going to be more like 3%. Lots of agents, if you're getting bookings in through agencies, then they would typically charge sort of 10%. And obviously, if you're bringing this in as a direct booking, so there's no actual cost here, you're bringing the booking in direct, then obviously that would be 0. So quite simply, you could click on any one of the cells and you can change the percentage here quite easily in the formula bar. So I've set this at 15% just to assume that every booking is coming through booking.com, which, I'd like to hope that you're going to be looking at trying to bring in direct bookings. And if you look on my YouTube page, you will actually see a whole masterclass focused on direct bookings. So I really do encourage you to watch that. And so you get some ideas on how you can move away from using the OTAs and booking.com in particular. So then if we look at the rest of our costs, we've got fixed costs here. We've got our rent, which is £600 a month. You may have a service charge if you own the property. If you're renting the property, you may have some insurance that you want to put in. So, you could put a figure in here of, let's say, £20 per month, which would then just work its way through into here as an example. You've got your gas, your electric, your water. And again, these figures you can change yourself quite easily. Wi-Fi, we've put in at £15 per month. So just some nice, simple, basic Wi-Fi. There's some great deals to be had when it comes to Wi-Fi, and definitely with some of these utility suppliers as well. So I really recommend shop around, use Google and really shop around to get the best deals you can. TV license is more like £11 than £10. In this day and age. And then the cleaning. So what I've done here with the cleaning is I've assumed it's 1.5 cleans per week. So what do I mean by that? What I mean is that you could have a guest that stays for 7 nights and they would only receive a clean at the end of their 7th night stay. So they would receive it at that point. There would be a clean on the property. If you've got a guest that's staying for like sort of 2 weeks, I'd only be doing 1 clean for them per week. Or you may have a guest that is staying for 3 nights and then it will need a clean, and then you've got another, say, 3-night stay or 4-night stay and it need another clean along those lines. So I've just assumed it's like, let's say, 1.5 cleans per week. You can obviously change that calculation. I've assumed £15 for a clean and £5 for a set of linen. And sundries being sort of like, little soaps and bits and pieces like that. So, but again, if you wanted to, you can quite simply change that figure in here. If you felt that was too low, you can definitely increase that slightly if you wanted to. I've put £20 per month for maintenance. These will be things like, say, changing light bulbs, just keeping on top of your property. And then the furniture, I'm saying that we're going to be hiring in the furniture because it's all about the cash flow. So, you can buy the furniture if you want to, but I'd recommend if you hire furniture in, and then you kind of like it's paid out on a monthly basis, and it just helps with cash flow. So I've sort of assumed here £100 per month for a 1-bedroom property, and you're going to be renting the furniture. If you're doing it on a rent-to-rent basis, you're going to be renting the furniture for sort of like 3 to 5 years. So that would be £100 a month. So if we come back to our 70% occupancy level, you can see that we've got revenue coming in of 1,800. We've got all our costs coming out of here. Now this is giving us a net profit here of £458 per month. Now, to be honest, I'd be really happy with that. So outside of London, if my liability is £600 per month and I'm bringing in a profit of £458, I'd be really happy with that. So that works really nicely for me. That's just under £5,500 per year on that particular property. And that's absolutely fine. And that works really well. The exciting part here is now taking this property, systemizing it, outsourcing all the bits that you don't like doing yourself, and finding a good team to really be able to help you. And that's a challenge, believe me, in its own right, trying to do that. But if you can do that, and then let's say that you take this up to 10 properties, you can see now that, you're bringing in a really nice income, £5,500 per month, if you were able to achieve that across 10 properties, or sort of, just under £55,000 per annum on those 10 properties. Now, let's say that you were able to increase that nightly rate by £5 per night. It starts to make a big difference. Let's say that you was on average be able to get up to £100 per night. Again, you can start to see these figures looking really, really healthy. But let's just be realistic. Let's take that back down to 85 in this example. And let's look at the 70% of £458. So that, I would be happy with that. And I hope you agree with me with that. Now, there is an opportunity to be able to increase the occupancy up to sort of 80%. And obviously, you're going to be working hard to make sure that happens. You're going to be relying on Booking.com to make sure that happens in this example. And so you really want to be using their promotions and different opportunities that Booking.com have to be able to really promote and get more guests in to stay in your property. And again, I've done a separate masterclass, which is on the YouTube channel if you want to view that, based around kind of occupancy and maximizing the opportunity with the OTAs. But look, let's be realistic. You're never going to be up to 100%. You're not going to be making like the £1,100 per month net profit. That's just not going to happen. It's never happened in all the years that I've been running serviced accommodation. So I think if you can be realistic, I'm kind of focusing around the 70%, around £458 per month. I think you've got a really nice business there, because it's all about taking that, increasing the number of units that you've got, systemizing the business, bringing a team in to help you, and then you can scale your business up from there. Now, if we take the same example, we just look at London, just to finish off. So if we look at this sort of multiplier effect, then if we're paying, let's say in London, just as this example, £1,500 a month for, again, it would probably be a 1-bedroom apartment, and it probably wouldn't be really centre of London for that sort of price. But you're going to need to be letting that property out like sort of £200 a night to get anywhere near this kind of 3 times multiple. So with London, I would typically say you're probably looking about sort of 2.5 times as a multiple. So that nightly rate of 200, I would say if you're looking around about £180 per night, that would be sort of like a 2.5 times multiple, I would say, on your rents that you're paying out. So again, the same example here, you need to be letting that property at £180 per night. You've got your rental going out of £1,500 a month at 70% occupancy, less all your costs coming out, is going to give you a healthier profit per month. Now, these costs may be slightly higher because we're in London now, but let's just assume that they're kind of around that sort of figure. And let's say that you're assuming that you're going to be making about £1,000 a month net profit. Now, I would be expecting to make that if I've got a liability of sort of £1,500 per month. So if I've got a £1,500 per month liability, I would definitely be expecting to make about £1,000 per month on that property. If I go back to the regional example, my liability is £600 a month and I'm making £458 net profit per month. So you can see that when your liability is a lot less, obviously your profit's going to be less. And when your liability is a lot higher, as in this example with the £1,500, then you would definitely be expecting your net profit to be higher. And that's really, really important, because what you don't want to be looking at is that you're paying £1,500 a month rent and you can only achieve, let's say, £140 a night on that property. Okay, because now you're making £557 a month net profit, but you still got this liability here of £1,500, which is double the price compared to regional, where you're making £458, but you're only making an extra £100 per month net profit. So I really hope that makes sense. It's really important to really analyze and look at your figures when you are planning out your serviced apartments. And so the whole idea of this profit matrix is just to give you a flavor of how it works and what you should be analyzing and looking at. Now, if you'd like a copy of this profit matrix, it's quite simple. You just click for the download now, and you can download this profit matrix and you can put your own figures in, and hopefully this will help you as a really nice, simple tool to be able to use for developing your serviced apartment business now and in the future. So I really hope that's of use to you. My name's Lee Pemberton. If you want to connect with me, please do so. Just follow the link that's on the page, and hopefully we'll be in contact with each other. And I wish you all the best with your serviced apartment business. Many thanks for listening.